Welcome, 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 welcome one, welcome all to my story talk show. And my name is Michelle L. Forbes, your founder and host. Today, we have a recap. We walk down memory lane as we are in transition and about to undergo name change and a host of other things. Starting next week, well, in fact, has started already. Yeah, but you will begin to see the start next week. We decided to just walk down memory lane and just pull some clips from interviews that we would have had in the past and do a compilation as we whet your appetite in expectation for the avenues, the roads, the highways, the byways where God is directing and leading us for the weeks, the months, the years ahead. So, buckle up, take your seat, call up a friend, let them know my story talk show is on, and we are going to get right into the meat of things. Definitely go ahead and engage, go ahead and comment, go ahead and drop a line here or there as any word that comes forth from the clips of interviews that we'll share today resonates with you. Go ahead and express yourself. Okay. So we're going to go right into our session as you tune into some clips from past interviews that we would have hosted.
All these things happened because she said yes.
Mm, wow.
That determination and that drive. And that's what we need to have in 2022 and beyond.
Yeah.
I've heard Michelle, many people say, oh, I hope this year is going to be a better year. But guess what? You're going to have heartache. You're going to have challenges. It's
Yep.
going to happen every single year.
Yep.
But it's how we position ourselves.
Yep.
It's about our perspective and
Yes.
how we're going to navigate what is going on in our lives.
Yes. Wow. Whew, that's powerful. That is so powerful. That is so powerful.
Breaking for me is to pay mortgage and ending up pay rent at the same time, because that was my home and I had to pay a mortgage for it. And then I was thinking of a way, how can I move and just go find somewhere else then? Because I can't live like this. I can't.
Yes.
And my escape was to go there, get somebody to move out my furniture fast, fast, fast. You wouldn't even understand. It's like I'm watching a movie right now. And move it out and pay for that rent of I think I used to live at can't remember the place now, trying to remember it close to Innsud. I'm not sure the name of the place, but it's close to Innsud. And there was a community over there, and I got a house to rent over there, and I went over there to live. I think I spent 2 years over there, and then I moved back into my home, and that's where I got the last attack into this new home because he trailed me and he finds where I live. And then this was next to death. This is the one that I talk about all the time. That is actually next to death, and that he beats me till I didn't know if any more blood was in my body. All I can know that I was just out cold with blood all over my body, and I had to pretend that I was dead for him to stop beating me, because that's what I can remember. I lay down till the blood dry upon me. That's how bad it was. He break inside the home, that home, particular home, and he came in and he just beat. Because as far as I'm concerned, I have to talk to him. He was like, I can't break off the relationship. That's not in his thing. That's not. I can't. I don't have no say.
You can't leave him. You can't leave him.
No. So that was really a tough thing for me. So after I think I was getting away from him by moving, that wasn't it. And then
heard on the news the amount of how COVID would have spread in India. It was being broadcast, being broadcast, being broadcast. But here God have had his men. Not sure if you had any women with you. I know most of the team is men. Would have been going out in the villages, ministering the love of God by expressing, meeting their needs, and then reaching their souls. So, in your village alone, within that first month, how many persons did you reach?
Overall count in that during that lockdown period, we almost reached 20,000 people. So, and we never expected that, some media channel would come and, just write an article about us, because we were just baby organization. We didn't know all this stuff. No, we thought, who would recognize us, or who would just see what we are doing?
Yeah.
We are not doing it just, that people might know us, or people might tell that this is an organization and they're trying to do this. We never wanted recognition, right? So we wanted to just show the love of God, and how God works is really wonderful.
Quite powerful when I heard you said legends. And as I read on, I realized why you used that word to describe these persons who would have made an impact in your life, Tanya. Yeah. So what I'd like for you to do is just to go about and just sharing, like, from early coming up, what has life been like for Tanya? And I recall in your book you started with mom. And that struck
Yes,
a chord with me because I was like, it's interesting because life really didn't start when you took your first breath, because mom is a part of who you are.
yes, very
Yes,
much so.
please go.
Yeah, and I did think that was very, very key, Michelle, to my story, is starting it with my mom. So as the story unfolds, people can understand why I am the way that I am, and it's because of my mom. So my mom had me in the 70s, and she was 16, pregnant with me, and she was told to leave home, and that was her beginning. But we want to encourage people through our stories that our beginning does not have to be our end.
Correct.
And our mess is turned into a message. And even though I was born to a 16-year-old mother, she taught me a lot of things. And as you read through the book Open Doors, about perseverance, determination,
Yes.
drive, all of those things that are going to help you in life today. So that's why I started with my mom, because imagine being 16 and pregnant and not really having anybody. And I just think, wow, what a scary place to be.
Yes.
And even though everything was against her and told that, really life is over, but people's words can be so damaging and it can stop you from moving forward. But my mom had a dream inside of her, even though she was only 16, she had a determination and a drive that no matter what, I am going to overcome, no matter what I'm going to achieve.
So I became the bookkeeper for Carglass Autos in St. Martin.
Wow.
So I thought, didn't have a proper place to stay. I ended up was paying guest house for some time. So I was working, paying guest house, then I had to get two jobs. But then I also got some friends in St. Martin that took me down a path that I was running from. So I was running from that type of life in St. Kitts, only to travel to St. Martin,
I'm back into it.
back into it, and even so more deeper. I started to work in a club. And this club, it was a like a beach bar but everyone that worked there, you had to dress like you were on the beach. So that means I had to dress in my two-piece swimwear.
Bikini. Oh,
That's right,
okay.
serving all types of people. And then I loved music. So when the manager of the place found out that I can dance, I was a center light for his business, which
Wow.
means there was a section
Yes.
or period during operations where everyone would stop socializing and the disco lights will be focused on, at that time my stage name was Bling Bling. So
Okay.
that was my name, Bling Bling. So the disco lights
Okay.
will focus on Bling Bling.
Wow.
Many people thought that I was a Jamaican. It's only afterwards they found out that I was a Kititian.
Yeah.
And I would dance the floor off. And as a result of dancing in that club, drug men started seeking me out. Businessmen started seeking me out. I would get gifts. People would just deliver gifts. So by the time I'm leaving at the end of every shift, I never needed a ride. I had no vehicle. I never needed a ride to get home. And I had one for nothing. Everything that I needed was just coming to me. But they had their own agenda, their own assignments.
Mm.
So you find as I started to get more caught up in this, I then started to lose more of what I really didn't even have.
Minister Kaiser, you made a statement just now. You said the gifts came with their own agenda. Dare I say it, the gifts also came with a cost
They did come with a cost.
that you were being required to pay, just
That's,
by it being delivered.
that's right. That's right.
You and to answer your original question, was it like boom, I was in and that was it? No, I had challenges, I had ebbs and flows, I had moments where I was ready to give up, not only for Christianity but to give up on my life. There were times when there was a particular time where I was like, God, if you don't fix this tonight, I quit. And I had every intention on killing myself. So
How did you walk away from that to right now you're alive and wonderfully so and here with us? How did you walk away from that where, okay, if you don't do, I will do? How did you walk away from that and is present here with us?
So being a person who I was suicidal in my younger years as well, and had small attempts. And I say it's small attempts because when you really attempt something like suicide, generally the effects are a lot more realized, if you will, meaning if you take pills or what have you, either you die or you don't. If you try to fall off a building, either you survive or you don't.
Yes.
I did dumb things like tried to stab myself, but I did it in areas where there's bone and you really have a hard time getting the knife all the way through, and then that part hurts. So I was like, I'm done with that. Right. So, thank God for my ignorance. Or I tried to throw myself down some stairs, but the stairs were winding and I gave up because I was like, I might not die. And then I'll just be like maimed for like ever. And then people be like, well, what happened? I'm like, well, I tried to throw myself down the stairs. So I was like, so my attempt, that's why I say small attempts. They were really dumb.
Yeah.
But anywho, so in this,
my laughter.
it's okay because it's very funny now.
Yeah. And the animation adds to it. It's like winding stairs.
It's like, who would do that? That's gonna hurt. Like, there's no instant to that, And so in this particular time, I was going through a few things, and I thank God that I had that personal relationship with Him, and I literally cried out, and I was like, God, I've had enough, and I was like, I need you to fix this now, otherwise, when I go home, I'm done. And I remember it was a Wednesday night, and we had Bible study. And the Lord was like, just go to Bible study. And I'm like, are you listening to me? I don't want to go to church. I want this to be done. I want you to fix it. Right. And you say, oh my gosh, how could you say that to God? Well, that's what we do anyway. I just I'm bold enough to say it out loud.
Yeah.
right?
By
And
our
so
actions, we do that.
exactly.
Yeah, but you are very vocal with him.
He hears my heart anyway, so let's not pretend like he didn't hear me say it
Yeah.
inside. So I'm just gonna say it outside. Anywho,
Couple of years after she was pregnant, her dad did ask her to come back and all of that stuff. And I was raised with my gran, and she was a powerhouse, a powerful woman of prayer, a powerful woman. I remember the times we were young, and she used to be round the house praying and looking for us and laying hands, and we would hide behind the curtains. Nan's coming. But she always found us, and I always wondered what those prayers were. And wouldn't it be amazing if she was alive today to know that her prayers have been answered?
Ah,
Wow.
wow, wow.
The grandchildren that she had at the time, they're all saved, they're married, they've got children. Could you imagine what her prayers were then and
Yes,
that they have been answered? So
yes.
she was a powerful woman, but it was a very hard time when she passed away. I was only 15, and I still remember it like it was today. And I'm now 40, nearly 46. And it's so painful when one of your legends does go. And he's like, why did you take her, God? You know, she's only in her 50s.
To share here, Michelle. I personally know few families, and they have been infected with COVID. My own cousin brother, he was infected with COVID, and he was isolated. He sent all his family members to relatives' place, and he was living alone. He was living alone. He isolated himself. He was living alone, and he just called me up and he said that I was affected with COVID and I'm just isolated. I'm taking medication and I isolated myself. First thing I said, can I come and visit you? The first thing I said, can I come and visit you? He
Really?
was like, yeah. So he was like, why do you want to come and visit me? You just pray over phone, that's fine. I said, no, I would like to come,
Mhm.
sit with you, lay my hands on you, pray for you, and leave. I
Hallelujah.
visited his house. He is COVID positive. I laid my hands over him. I prayed. I spent for 30, 45 minutes, sat with him, spoke with him, prayed for him, encouraged him, and came back. After 14 days, that virus in his body was not there. He was tested negative again, and I was not infected.
Hallelujah.
I visited one of my family, one of my friend, his family, whole family got infected. Whole family, 5 members. He has 2 brothers, 1 sister, and parents. All 5 of them were, affected with COVID. And I cannot see when, my people are being infected and when devil wants to mess up with my people, and I would not sit silent. I would not just relax on my sofa couch and just say, God, if it is your will, just heal them or do whatever you want. I would, because God gave me authority.
Mm.
God gave me authority. And he said, when we lay our hands and pray for the sick, they shall be healed. He did not say they may be healed. He said they shall be healed. So I know it is not magic or it is not my own. I'm not a magician to just go lay on my hands. I
Yeah.
know God wants somebody to lay hands because He wants to transfer His power through those hands
Mm.
to them. I
Mm.
visited the family. I sat with them for a couple of hours. I spoke with them. I ate dinner with them. I prayed for everyone, all family members, and I came back. I was not infected.
Mm.
I was not infected.
All right, definitely. So my journey, I believe, is one that is a bit peculiar, but still not uncommon. I remember my high school days. For those of us who wasted time in high school, I was a product of that, wasting time in high school, and just want to do your own thing, want to be in the in crowd, and want to be popular. And as a result of that, I remember that I was kicked out of school. Yes.
I thank God for the managers that I have even today who were like, "What are you doing? Like, I see you over here, and this is how you are. But then in this situation, you keep like backing away and trying to say things in this like really, really kind, overly sensitive way. Could you stop?" And
Wow. Wow. I love that.
yeah, I mean, God places people in your life to remind you of who you are, and that
Yes.
who you are is perfect. Now, that doesn't mean that there is no refinement to our
Yes.
personalities and characters,
Absolutely.
right? Because the Holy Spirit will do that.
Yes.
You don't need to change who you are, because who you are in God's eyes is exactly who you were created to be. And you
Mhm.
were created to be that way because of the people you were created to impact.
Mm,
And
yeah.
the people that I were created to impact will not receive from a timid version of me. Because
No.
they were like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you talking like that? Are you okay?" And some people can't stand me.
Yes.
And I had to get to the point where I say, that's okay.
Yeah. You were
Everybody,
called to everyone.
no. And
Yeah.
so I removed that burden from me. That
Yeah.
those that don't like me, it's okay if they don't like me. Though there's some that will never receive from me, no
Yeah.
matter how powerful, anointed, or whatever the message that God has given me, they will
Yeah.
never receive it. That's
Yeah.
okay. They weren't intended to.
Yeah. You weren't sent to them.
Mhm.
Wow. I love it. Whew. Wow. 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 Mm. Oh, I've never heard anybody. Usually they say you're my hero, and this person's my hero, and that person's my hero. But it was quite powerful when I heard you said legends. And as I read on, I realized why you used that word to describe these persons who would have made an impact in your life, Tanya. Yep. So what I'd like for you to do is just to go about and just sharing, like from early coming up, what has life been like for Tanya? And I recall in your book you started with mom. And that struck
Yes,
a chord with me because I was like, it's interesting because life really didn't start when you took your first breath, because mom is a part of who you are.
yes, very
Yes.
much so.
Please go.
Yeah, and I did think that was very, very key, Michelle, to my story is starting it with my mom. So as the story unfolds, people can understand why I am the way that I am, and it's because of my mom. So my mom had me in the 70s, and she was 16, pregnant with me, and she was told to leave home, and that was her beginning. But we want to encourage people through our stories that our beginning does not have to be our end.
Correct.
And our mess is turned into a message. And even though I was born to a 16-year-old mother, she taught me a lot of things. And as you read through the book Open Doors, about perseverance, determination,
Yes.
drive, all of those things that are going to help you in life today. So that's why I started with my mom, because imagine being 16 and pregnant and not really having anybody. And I just think, wow, what a scary place to be.
Yes.
And even though everything was against her and told that, really life is over, but people's words can be so damaging and it can stop you from moving forward. But my mom had a dream inside of her, even though she was only 16, she
Mm.
had a determination and a drive that no matter what, I am going to overcome, no matter what I'm going to achieve. And she was the first person in her family to graduate university and become a social worker.
Wow.
Yes, and that's amazing to know that. And to fast forward all these years, Now, imagine if my mum did listen to those stories and just sat back and did nothing.
Yes.
Who knows what her life would have been like, and my life. But
Yes.
now, Michelle, my mom is an author of 2 books. Her book came out yesterday. Lord, teach me to
Wow.
pray.
Ah, wow. Congratulations, Mom. Wow.
Yes. Yes, and her journal's coming out, a prayer journal. She has a prayer summit tomorrow. She's a licensed minister. She's
Mm,
a coach.
mighty.
But she was a 16-year-old girl that was told that her life was over. And that's how my story begins.
There was no movement in my body.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no. I know my heart was still beating. I know, but if it's like if you move, you'll get another lick. And I don't know what part of all part of it was. I'm just seeing this blood all over. I'm not sure where it was bleeding at that time,
Mhm.
and I had to just.
And he
Just
didn't matter where he was hitting you, whether head or back or.
it doesn't really matter. And you don't have nothing. You don't have nothing to call anybody, to reach out to anybody. It was really, really
That
a.
was cell phone era. That wasn't the time of cell phones.
No, but I did have a cell phone.
You
I
had cell
did,
phones.
yes. But at that time, you would have your cell phone, because that's the first thing you would have grabbed. You know, that's the
Mm,
first thing, the
cut you off
connection.
from the world. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, that's the first thing you would have grabbed. Any conversation that we'd have, that's the first thing you would have pulled.
Wow.
Yes, yes. So that was my first thing. You know,
How did you get from there, evangelist? Like on the ground to the point where the blood started drying up on you. How did you get from there to the hospital or even to the police station to report it?
there was a neighbor. I think there was a neighbor that likes me, and they came over and checked for me, and they'd have heard the stumbling over there too as well, and they
Mhm.
were looking for him to go on, because once they see the car drive up, because he has been surveilling the house, he was surveilling the house from another neighbor's house. That's how I know all of that. He would have come and sit there for hours and watching. So he has been surveilling that place for a good bit.
Yes.
And
Waiting for the
they
time to strike.
yeah, and then waiting for me. So I would know all of this after the after effect. I would know after that he has been watching, and
Yes.
stuff like that. But I want to say God has been good.
Hello, hello, hello. Yes, yes, yes. Indeed, God has been good. And I'd like to share some nuggets as we wind down to the wire, to the end. Some just power nuggets that jump out at me as I'm listening to the replay, the clips of these interviews that we would have had. And before I share, it's quite interesting. I don't know if you have ever recorded yourself and then sit down and look and listen to yourself, but I'm here smiling at myself, just looking at Michelle from then coming up to present. And just tracking from the very first day when we hit the go live button and went live to today, where we are today. And I love how we closed out this session today, where Evangelist McLean says, truly, God has been good. And if He has been good to you, go ahead, leave a comment. Yes, Minister Michelle, God has been good. A key message that I want to share. I wrote down a number of nuggets, but in the interest of time, I want to share this one with you. Where the I mean, Tarnia, that's from the UK, she was sharing about the message and how all of us have a message. And what I wrote down was our mess is turned into our message. And the question that comes up for me with that is, what is your message? What are you doing with your message? Is it just locked up here and locked up here and locked up in your womb? It's not for you. Can I remind you today? Your message, with the mess that you would have walked through and the message that has come forth as a result of that, your message is not for you. It's for those to whom you are called. Can I ask you to take a moment today and stop and think? So, if my message is not for me and it is for those to whom I'm called, where are they? Ask yourself some tough questions. How much longer am I going to let them be waiting for the message? What have they been going through? And more than likely, it is similar to some things that you would have walked through, because you would be able to speak their language, because you would have walked through similar. Where are they today? Are they still alive? You survived your mess and you're alive. And it's for you to buckle up, clod yourself, fix yourself up, dress, and go forth with your message. Do it afraid, do it timidly, do it. Do it if it's even one. Before this day is out, I challenge you, just take some quiet time. If you're not even sure of what your message is or how it is packaged or refined, God, can you make that clear for me? And then now turn the light inward. Those people to whom I'm called, where are they? How are they? Have they buckled and gave up under the pressure? Because you know how the pressure was, eh? You know firsthand how if it wasn't for God upon your side, you would be non-existent. And your people are waiting on you. And that word of deliverance in your mouth, that word of blessing for you to release from your womb upon their lives and their households. Let's go, man. Let's go. God's been ready. Whatever you have, wherever you're at, go with that. And then the other stuff will fall in place as you step in obedience. This last thing, and I close. When God spoke to Moses, he said, stretch forth the rod, what you have in your hand, and the waters will part. When it was Joshua's time, his successor, God says, step. No waters part. But as he obeyed and stepped, then the water began to part as he stepped. God's waiting on you to step. Let's go. Let's finish this year. Some stuff from way up in the year you were supposed to do and execute already. Let's close it out strong this 2022. Yep. Celebrate with you. I celebrate with you as you go get your people and release that message onto them and into them and watch God transform their lives. God bless you. It's a pleasure having you here today. As you would have seen as we went through all the different clips, we have our name change coming up next week Sunday. And for us as Christians, Spiritual Israel, it will be the start of our Jewish New Year. God bless you. Until next week, same time at 3 p.m. sharp. Au revoir. Much love to you and your family. Pastor Linda, God indeed has been good. Yes, yes, yes. God has been good. Yes, Pastor Ilian. Yes, yes. And congrats to you, Pastor Ilian. I saw your certificate this morning. I was on Facebook briefly. Go take the world by storm. Your people are waiting on you. And it's you and God. You have heaven backing you. Step in boldness and confidence, knowing that God is with you. God bless you. Bye.